This week's Torah portion is the portion of Vayetze from the book of Genesis. Vayetze Yaakov mi Beersheva, and Jacob left Beersheba and set out for Haran. And it tells the story of where he stopped for the night, and he placed his head down on a stone and rested. And then he dreamt the dream, the powerful dream of a ladder that ascended from earth to heaven, and the angels of the Lord were ascending and descending on the ladder. It also tells the story of him meeting his wife-to-be, Rachel, and his very crafty father-in-law, Laban, who had him work and deceived him as he was deceived, and under the chuppah, the wedding canopy, he gave the older daughter, Leah, as the bride. And then eventually he worked another 7 years and married Rachel. And the story goes on to tell of his life, the life of our patriarch Jacob, later to become Israel. Shabbat Shalom, and greetings everyone from our beautiful Saban Theater for our weekly Torah Talk. And this gives me an opportunity to look at the weekly Torah portion and draw jewels of inspiration from it. And this week's portion is filled with many jewels. Before I begin the Torah Talk, which I'm taping here in our beautiful temple home, the Saban Theater in Beverly Hills, we miss it. We miss being here and being together. But we're very confident with the vaccines that are on the horizon that very soon we'll all be back together again celebrating all of the great holidays. And I want to take this opportunity to wish you and your family and loved ones a happy, healthy, and joyous Thanksgiving. You know, Thanksgiving, the holiday, was modeled after the Jewish autumn harvest festival of Sukkot, Tabernacles. Sukkot was a time of great celebration in which the pilgrims offered thanks to God. The founding fathers recognized what an important observance it was, and they crafted what we know as American Thanksgiving around that festival of Tabernacles. There was a great reverence by the founders of the Bible, the Hebrew Bible. In fact, if you look at the major American universities that were established, they all had Hebrew departments because the founders wanted to study the Bible in its original language. Why? The reason is because they looked upon America as the new promised land and its new capital as the new Jerusalem, that it would be a source of light, a source of belief and democracy. In fact, the engraving on the Liberty Bell proclaims the words, "Proclaim liberty throughout the land to all of the inhabitants thereof." So very deeply rooted in our celebration of Thanksgiving are its early biblical origins. And today I'd like to talk about the Torah portion, and the portion speaks about the life of Jacob. You remember the story from last week? He deceived his brother and stole the birthright blessing, and now he goes off into the desert. And at night he puts his head down on a stone and he has the famous dream, the dream of the ladder that went from earth to heaven with the angels ascending and descending on it. Well, it doesn't take a Sigmund Freud to realize that this was a fear-induced dream. Jacob was scared for his life. He fled from his brother Esau's anger, and he fled into the wilderness with an unknown future, an unknown destiny. And he was gripped by that fear. And so he saw himself ascending and descending. What would his destiny be? Would it be heavenly? Would he receive divine reward? Or would he be tethered to the earth? And in a way, that ladder is a metaphor for the experience all of us have when we're confronting fear. And many of us now, with this terrible coronavirus, are confronting fear. But what we must keep in mind is that our faith will take us through these times. Our belief in God, our support from the people we love and care about, even if we can't touch them physically, we can hug them emotionally, virtually, and get the same satisfaction or very close to it, knowing that we love them and that they love us. Now, Jacob goes on after the dream. He wakes up and realizes what an awesome experience this was, a powerful dream. And he said, this truly must be what he calls in Hebrew, Shar HaShamayim, the gateway to the heavens. And he recognized the power of that dream, and he offers God a deal. What's the deal? If you'll watch over me, Lord, and you'll protect me and bless me and allow me to come into this land and inhabit it and own it, I promise that I will give you 10% of all of my sheep and flocks and cattle and anything that I possess. Now that's a young Jacob trying to negotiate a deal for protection. The much later Jacob, as we'll see in the other powerful dream that he had, struggling with the angel, has a much more sophisticated and mature dream. Lord, protect me and my family, please, from what might occur to me when I reunite with my brother. I don't know if he'll still harbor hatred or if he'll be able to forgive me. And so that's a much more mature Jacob dream, and we'll talk about another vision that he had later on. But Jacob is a very important object lesson. His name means to struggle, to wrestle. And all of us wrestle with conscience. All of us deal with that struggle. Did we do the best we could? Were we the best person we could ever be? These are challenges to our spiritual being. And now in these very difficult times, we recognize that the challenge calls to us to be there for one another, to come through this time and have the confidence and faith that we will endure this. Our people have endured so much throughout history. This is but a blip on the radar screen. So while we offer prayers for all of those who've taken ill with this terrible virus, and we offer prayers for the frontline workers, the nurses, the doctors, the emergency medical technicians, we offer it with a belief in our hearts and our minds that we'll come through this time and have so much to continue to be ever thankful for. Before I close, I want to remind you that this coming Tuesday after Thanksgiving is Giving Tuesday. That's a time where we give to the causes we believe in. We here at the temple appreciate your support. And on Giving Tuesday, please think of your temple. And there are many ways you can help. Financial contributions, of course, help us get through this time. But also our bank's been wonderful to us, Cal Private. So consider opening an interest-bearing account at Cal Private to show good faith with our bank, who's helping us through this difficult time with loan deferment and restatement of our temple's mortgage. And know that from everyone here at your temple, we wish you nothing but good health, long life, and much blessing. And remember, we're thankful that you're in our life and that we can be in yours. Shabbat Shalom.